we have a quorum. And Rick Nagel finally came down to be with us, so it's time to start. We'll call it to order. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Allen. Auger. Here. Guerrero. Dahl.
Here.
Davis. Frost. Gillum. Hernandez. Here. Oshite.
Here.
Ishmael. Kozarek.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Molina. Sanchez.
Here.
Shefflo. Silva.
Here.
Smith. Starrett. Thomas. Wegman. Winicki.
Here.
Is anybody signed up to publicly speak? All right. I want to introduce Pat Chess, who's going to do the 2017 seed harvest report. And our employees, one thing they do, they organize volunteers and they harvest our own seeds and saves us a ton of money. And they have a good time doing it. So Pat, lead on.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to start off by thanking you all for having me here and for your time. As I'm going to show you, I'm here to talk about our 2017 seed harvest season. I think it's something that we do really well, and it's important to kind of celebrate our successes that we're all a part of. And so to start that off, we got to talk about why we pick seed, right? So to illustrate that point, right, we're using seed to reintroduce native plants into our landscapes, and we can either buy a single living plug of a plant for about $1, or we can buy about 10,000 seeds of that plant for that same price. And so seed really is the most cost-effective and best way we can use to reintroduce native species. So it's important that we partake in this exercise. One of the most important factors that we're looking at when we're harvesting seed is diversity. There's up to 675 species present in Illinois prairies, and it's not uncommon for any single prairie to support over 100 species. We also have to look at seeding rate. There's a lot of math that goes into these calculations of the mixes that we create. Basically, it boils down to us needing to plant between 15 and 25 pounds of seed an acre. So it's really important that we're harvesting a lot of seed to do these restorations. And it's also important to note that native seed is very expensive. So a quality prairie costs between $1,500 to $2,000 an acre to seed. Just getting something that's 24 species that kind of looks like a prairie but may not function like one costs about $500. And the quality of the initial seeding really does have a huge impact on the quality of the end restoration. So we want to do a great job up front and not neglect that in the initial phases. Which brings us to what we did in 2017. So last year we harvested over 200 species, 202. That was over 1,400 pounds of wet weight coming in, which yielded 567 pounds of clean seed. We, as a staff, picked seed on parts or all of 61 days throughout the year. It's really an important interdepartmental effort, so people were present at seed harvest from all the different departments in the Forest Preserve district, and we collected seed at 38 different preserves, which is a lot of places throughout the county. But more important, than just our staff is the volunteer contribution. So we held 15 different public events throughout the fall. 12 of those were our regular Wednesday seed team events. 3 of them were special events on weekends. We had 195 volunteers participate, which gave us 390 hours of service. And those volunteers accounted for 709 pounds of the seed that was harvested, which was 48% of the total weight. So the public is bringing in half of the seed that we're picking. So we really rely on them as a huge part of this process. And then just to kind of relate those numbers into what we've been doing in the past, the number of species that we've been harvesting has been holding around 200. That's our goal. That's basically that's a really good number to be picking, is around 200. So we hit that this year, which is good. The weight harvested over time, you see that that's been going up. The green bars there, the dry weight, that's after processing. That's the important number. That's the number of actual seed that's going out in the field. You'll notice that in 2017, there was a lot more wet weight, and that ratio was a little thrown off. I think that's primarily due to us harvesting more in the rain, so a lot of that weight is just water, which would explain why it's so much higher. And then to kind of relate this into a dollar value of what that seed means, you see that that number has been increasing over the years as well. We're up over $127,000 this year, which is just a huge amount of money, so that's really good. We also buy seed, so our seed budget is $60,000, so you can see we harvested twice that amount, so that really puts into perspective how important it is that we're picking seed. When we bought seed, we bought 5 different mixes. They ranged from a 17 species really targeted enrichment mix to a 112 species mix for planting brand new prairie. 5 different mixes for the following preserves. We'll go over some of those plantings. We did a 35-acre prairie planting at Dick Young, so that's taking a current prairie restoration that was in really bad shape. We kind of tore it down this year. We're replanting that. We also are creating 30 acres of new prairie at Bowes Creek Woods. That was a former hayfield, so that's getting prairie for the first time. And we're doing 30 acres of woodland enhancement at Freeman Kane. So this was following up a large contract clearing that took place in the woods there, removing invasive species. We're also doing 2 acres of wet woods enhancement at Brayburn Marsh. That's also following up a winter clearing. And then 8 acres at Leroy Oaks. This was a wetland that's just south of a nature preserve that's a dry gravel hill prairie. So we cleared out a bunch of invasive species that were encroaching into that remnant, and we're kind of enrichment seeding that area. Some other plantings that were happening this year, minor ones, are at Big Rock, Oakhurst, and McLean Road Fen. It's nice to see as we went through that, we're really planting seed across the entire county. We're trying to focus on as much area as we possibly can. And going into the future, we're looking to continue maximizing diversity, keep hitting that 200 species number, keep increasing volume by getting staff time out there, using volunteers as much as we possibly can. We've been utilizing mechanical seed collection means to increase our volume. And then, what we're looking to plant, with the exception of grants and kind of big capital projects, we're looking to target 50 to 75 acres of prairie plantings each year, and then another 50 to 75 acres of enrichment projects. And that's what we've been doing the last couple of years. That's probably a sustainable rate for us. Yeah, with that, I'd just like to thank you again for your time, and I can take any questions if you have them.
Oh, Mr. Lewis, I know I could count on you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, this is a core competence of ours, and I'll tell you what, your improvement and your continuing efforts towards this, I think the whole organization claim this as one of our signature activities. And it's really good. We need to continuously get better at it. And I congratulate the whole staff and thank you very much. It was a nice presentation and good awareness. Thank you.
I can say the people of Kane County are grateful for all your work. And sometimes it's not how much you spend, it's what you save. You save a lot of money, and I think you guys look like you enjoy yourselves at the same time. Yeah. So thank you very much and continue the good work.
Yeah, thanks.
Presentation approval of minutes. Would anybody like to move the minutes? Oh, Mr. Martin moves. Monica Silva seconds. Is there discussion on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Now we have presentation approval of bills for January. Would somebody like to move that? Mr. Dahl move. Mr. Frost seconds. Is there discussion on that? This is a roll call vote. Okay.
Auger?
Auger?
Here.
Did she say something?
Yes.
Stahl?
Speak up.
Frost. Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael. Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Wakeman. Winnicki.
Yes.
It stands approved. We're going to talk about land acquisition, number 2599, resolution authorizing the purchase of 63.23 acres in Campton Township. Barbara Winnicki moves. Drew Fraz seconds. Is there discussion on this? As you know, we're just adding to an existing preserve. So, roll call.
Auger.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Wakeman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved. Resolution 2600, resolution authorizing land acquisition of 74.21 acres in Blackberry Township. Mr. Fraz moves. Oh, Mr. Leonard seconds. Is there discussion on this purchase? All right, we're ready to vote.
Auger.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael. Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Wakeman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved. Number 2601, resolution authorizing land acquisition of 110 acres in Plato Township. Barbara Winnicki moves it. Jared Sanchez seconds. Is there discussion? Ready to vote.
Auger.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Wakeman. Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved.
Teresa, yes.
Teresa, welcome Teresa. She's coming in with her new trophy. Under bids, number 2602, resolution authorizing the purchase of 4 propane fueled zero-turn blowers for the use in the operations department. Mr. Leonard moves. Mr. Franz seconds.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Lewis.
let the record show that I recuse my vote on this resolution.
Okay, even though you think it's a great idea. Okay, notice that they're propane mowers, so we're green all the way. Ready to vote?
Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Wakeman. Winnicki.
Yes.
Okay, the next is the 2603, resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 pickup trucks and 2 dump trucks for use by the operations department through the state of Illinois bid program. Mr. Lewis moves. Mr. Dahl seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor, we're ready to vote.
Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazaric.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wakeman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved. Number 2604, resolution authorizing a contract for services to repave the parking lot and entrance drive at the Fabian Forest Reserve. Mr. Martin moves. Becky Gillum seconds. Ready to vote?
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman. Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved. 2605, resolution authorizing the purchase of a replacement steel shelter kit for the Hampshire Forest Preserve. Maggie Augur moves, Becky Gillum seconds. Is there discussion on this? Incidentally, this shelter was mostly destroyed when there was a large wind event a couple of years ago, and this is just for catching up to repairing it. We're ready to vote.
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost. Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin. Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Okay, under agreements, 2606, resolution authorizing a naming rights signage and promotion agreement with Northwestern Memorial Healthcare and the Chicago Area Track and Field Organization Committee for the Settlers Hill Cross Country Ski Event Center. Would anybody like to move that? Mr. Martin moves, Mr. Leonard seconds. Thank you for all your work on this, Mr. Martin. It'll be a proud day here. Would anybody like to discuss this? All right, we're ready to vote.
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Intergovernmental agreements, 2607, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for the river obstruction removal project. Mr. Holshack moves, Becky Gillum seconds. Is there discussion of this? We're ready to vote.
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Under 2608, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with KDOT for the sub-licensing use of software program. Somebody like to move that? Mr. Frost moves, Mr. Dahl seconds. This is another great example of county working together with its fellow offices. Ready to vote? Okay.
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Stands approved. Under use ordinances 0545, ordinances approving the revision of the general use regulations ordinance. Mr. Dahl moves. Becky Gillum seconds. Are there any questions? Do you want to discuss it? Seeing none, we'll vote.
Augur.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost. Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Kazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Under new business 2609, resolution approving the 2018 update of the 2015 comprehensive master plan. Mr. Holscheit moves. Maggie Auger seconds. Is there discussion? Ready to vote?
Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Zarek.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
All stands approved. Under communications, we have the Conservation Foundation luncheon, which is Thursday at 11:30 at the Abington in Glen Ellen. If you'd like to attend with us, talk to Ellen today. And under President's comments, I want to congratulate John Holscheit, who is now the chairman of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Mr. Chairman.
You know, we've long been a member of IAPD, and IAPD's been a very important advocate for park districts and forest preserve districts, primarily advocating for the open space program and the grant program that has stayed intact over the years despite attempts in Springfield to divert those funds. We've received millions of dollars in grants, and the integrity of that fund is critical. So IAPD is our advocate in Springfield. I've been privileged to ask on the board. IAPD has been really a long-term partner, dating back to Monica's being hired here. We use IAPD as our search firm to find a director, find the best director for our Forest Preserve District, and they did a great job then. And so after I was president at the time when Monica was hired, and since that process went so well, I've stayed involved. So if there's anything that we need help with on a statewide basis, if any commissioners have any concerns or comments, let me know, and I can obviously let the staff know in Springfield, and they'll be glad to help us. Mr. Chairman, I do want to make another comment, though, that's unrelated to the issue that we voted on with the naming rights in the cross-country course. I just want to say that as a commission and also as a county board, we owed a debt of gratitude to the city of Geneva for accommodating our landfill for so many years. And this project now, the landfill closed a few years ago, but we promised the city and its residents that we would do our best to make that a useful facility. And this is the culmination of that process. And I want to particularly thank John Martin and Mike Donahue, who were really the spearheads for this project. There were some naysayers in the beginning, and it was difficult to get to this point, but not only did they persevere, but they proved that it was economically feasible, and they saved us a lot of money. And approving the naming rights is really outside resources to help us fund that. And so if you get an opportunity to thank Mr. Martin and Mr. Donahue, and I just want to make a comment about Mr. Donahue. I don't know if the board knows this, but Mike was just recently publicly made us aware that he was diagnosed with ALS. And so he's strong right now. He's got a long battle ahead of himself. But as board members, if you have the opportunity to communicate with him, do so. You know, give him a positive communication. I think that'll help his spirits as he has to deal with this situation. So, thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Of course, as you all know, today is Fat Tuesday, and I didn't want Carl Shadow to be the only one that would recognize it, so I have my famous cow beat on today. So we're all looking forward to a good time. We have to have a good time in this life because it's all too short. And I want to talk about Maple Sugar Days, March 3rd and 4th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Leroy Oaks. And we have a pass out here that's always a pretty cool event. Sure, it's a lot of work to get maple syrup, but I have to go to the grocery store to get mine. I'm not able to do all that work, but it's a fun time, and the Forest Preserve does its best to educate the citizens and their children of this wonderful place we call Mother Nature in this world. We have departmental reports now?
No.
Then all we're looking for is a motion to adjourn. Wait a minute. You want to put the motion for reports on? That's why I asked you. Okay. Susan Starr moves to put all the reports on file, and Mr. Leonard seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Now, even though TR is not here, did we even notice he was gone, Bert? No, everybody's cheerful, yeah. Mr. Frost will take care of the motion to adjourn. Penny Wagman seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.